as you obviously know, this is Easy Speak, and if you were looking for PowerPoint, you're in the wrong room.
That was last session.
Yeah, go back in time. Now, with this presentation today, it is for a new user that comes in and says, hey, what's this Easy Speak? How do I get in? And they say, well, if I want a speech, I'm just going to email you. No, it's easier than that. Here's Easy Speak. The way that I got into Easy Speak was I've been a Toastmaster since 2010, and in 2013 I became a VP Ed for communicators. I took one look at the spreadsheet that the previous VP Ed had, and I swear, rocket scientists, it's just required too much. It was multiple spreads, multiple sheets, color-coded, macros, and I said, I don't think so. So I looked at, there was three or four different club management programs that I looked at, and Easy Speak was of course the one. Free Toast Host, I did look at that, and there was a couple other that were on local machines. So with Free Toast Host, great program, does what it needs to do. It was introduced in 2014. Oh, Easy Speak, 2005, 14, or 2004. It handles scheduling, so you can schedule your meetings. I know roughly how to do it, and I could probably fight my way through it, but it just appeared too complicated for me. Easy Speak, I consider that to be a smart scheduling. Because one of the things also is you can go off and you can automate the role selection. And Easy Speak will take in however you've configured your Easy Speak, and it will assign the roles. It's a web page. You can't beat it from a web page. If you want to be found by non-Toastmasters, Toastmaster will do it every time. You just key in Calgary Toastmasters, and you will find the website that belongs to that club, and you're in. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, so those two are websites or they are software?
It's internet-based software. Free Toast Host allows you to create a web page and do scheduling. Easy Speak is what I consider to be a club management program. It's internet-based, so you can log in from anywhere in the world. And the nice thing about it is it carries your record. Like, what roles have you done? What speeches have you done? What leadership have you followed? Did I answer the question? Okay. Free Toast Host has email. Okay, so does Easy Speak. Where Easy Speak starts to float to the top, I found, is with the member progress. It tracks what you've done. So you go out and do a speech, it's got it recorded. You go out and do a role, it's recorded. You lose your manual. If it's in here, you got it. I've had about 3 or 4 people that have lost their manual. We've been able to save them. Mentoring adds a part of the features. We're not going to be covering that today, but it does do it. Goal setting, and Christina will be getting into that. Customizable to no end. That makes it a little bit complicated on the setup, but other than that, it's once it's going, you'll see how it works. If you're not a Easy Speak member, when you first get someone to get your VPN to sign you into EasySpeak, you will get an email saying, EasySpeak system, here's your login. You click on that, and it brings you to your club's home page. From there, in the email, it also says, we heavily suggest that you change your password because it gives you some temporary. So it'll say, go into profile. From profile, you put in the password that EasySpeak sent you. Just do a copy paste of that password into current password, and then put in your new password. Deal. Save. You're done. After you're having EasySpeak account or login, mine is richard.mow. Each one will have their own, of course. From there, put in the user ID or login, your password, and if you wish, you can also say the remember me, so you don't have to type in your password all the time. And guess what? You're back at your home page. So whenever you log in, it'll be the login, poof, there's your home page. And each home page will be slightly different. Just to go over this a little bit, there's the top menu, which is the method that I usually use. There's also a context-sensitive side menu, which again, I don't use it that often, so everything's along the top. With us, we have our meeting set up so that it'll show our future meetings. We can click directly to that meeting. And now, Christina has something to say.
How many people have a club that's using EasySpeak right now? So, and you're comfortable using it? No. So this is for you. This session is not for how to set it up so much, but what is it going to look like for the member? And Richard's just taken us through the login. So the setup for the club will be backdoor. Your VPN, your techie person in the club will set it up. But you as a member, this is what you're going to see, and this is how simple it is for you. So now you've logged in, and you want to say, I'm coming to the next meeting. So this is the screen you'll get. You would sign in, click on My Participation, and one of the drop-down menus is Sign Up for Meetings. Confirm attendance, and depending on how far out your executive have planned, in this case, Richard has 4 meetings showing. These are the dates of the meetings, 25th and into February. So I can tell my executive, I can tell all my members, and you'll see the screens in a minute, I'm attending, yes, on the 25th, yes, yes, yes. As a VP Education, how valuable would it be to know who's coming to meetings a month out? Is that not amazing? Yes. So now all of a sudden, I have a commitment from my club members who are going to say, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. I haven't done anything more than that, but I can work with knowing 10 people are coming. Way better than 6 days to the meeting. I don't even know who's going to show up, and I got to create an agenda. So then the next thing, a really good member is going to say, not only am I coming, but I want this role. And so right underneath that, this is the actual agenda role. Sergeant at Arms, a chairperson, a grammarian. And I can go out 4 weeks and say, I want to be the Sergeant at Arms for that meeting. I want to be the grammarian. I'm going to be a speaker. I'm going to be an evaluator. I'm going to be the chairperson. Let's look back at our own journey for a second. I want to finish my CL by July. And we're going to look at how that goal setting. But I now have maybe 4, 6, 8 meetings available for me to sign up. You go all the way to July. But I can say, project number 2, I have to be a grammarian. I can do that next week. Project number 6, I have to be the timer. Boom, I'm going to sign up for that. Project number 8, boom. And I can plan out my CL manual to be finished. That's great for my own personal journey. That's also great for my club to know that I will achieve that and it will go towards Distinguished Club Program. Everybody know what the DCP is? Yes. So now, not only do I have people invested in planning their own journey, I actually can start to see who's going to help me achieve those goals for our DCP. And I can track all of that on Easy Speak as well. We'll share that with you. So I've now signed up for maybe 4 meetings. And maybe I haven't signed up for 4, but I've actually recorded that I'm not coming to one. So now my VPN's not going to schedule me, because the old way, they would schedule and then you'd say, oh, I'm not coming, I'm going out of town that weekend. Okay, now I got to phone somebody else. So there's a whole rigmarole. But through Easy Speak, it's very clear. And what I love is that the onus is on the member. So before, we'd have a spreadsheet and everybody would be assigned a role, and then 5 people would be on holiday, or I have to work late, or I can't make it. And now you got 5 holes on your agenda. This puts the onus on the speaker, on the member, to say, I'm not coming, don't schedule me for anything. That's really valuable. It's not great, we'd rather have you at the meeting, but at least I know that I'm not going down that road.
And that's accomplished if you back up the one where it says the YN and question mark on the green circles. If you are able to make it but don't want to roll, just click yes. If you're not going to make it, click no. Otherwise, you'll get a question mark.
When the meeting is printed, it'll have a question mark beside. So now everybody knows you didn't RSVP. And you can create a culture in your club where it is expected that you would be polite enough to respond to the rest of your members about whether you can make it. Now, granted, life happens. Maybe like a blizzard or something like that, where you can't make it to a meeting, right?
It's only minus 36 on Saturday.
It's not that bad. That's right. So now we actually have people committed to a meeting agenda, and this would be the actual meeting agenda. So this is for MVP on the 25th. Here is all the roles. These are blacked out the names, but we could actually see these people are attending, and then we can see what roles are still available. So in this case, the chairperson was taken and verified, yes, I will take that job. I will be the grammarian, yes. And we still have sergeant at arms. We have a role called dealer's choice, and the grammarian are still open. So when I go to this meeting agenda, and I can see the date at the top, I say I'm attending. Richard has done it. This is his page, and he's taken a role. So now, as a member of the club, I can go to that agenda and say, well, I'm attending. And I see that there's no evaluator number 3, so I'll sign up for that. And the onus is for me to commit to that responsibility and not somebody tell me, which I think is a lot more valuable for us to each take ownership of our own journey.
Can you change it after you sign up?
You can. So now all of a sudden I have to work late, I can go back in and I can do a thumbs down. So the actual symbol is a thumbs up, I accept this role, or a thumbs down. So as the member, you can still control that. You're not locked in forever, and until whatever, 10 hours before the meeting, it might be locked, depends what the VPN does. But up until then, you might sign up, or you say, oh, now I've got a speech idea, and nobody signed up for speech. I'm gonna give up grammarian, I'm gonna be a speaker. So that's flexible all the way through until the meeting time. But yes, and totally understandable, life happens. But what I've found in the past is that some people just don't think it's important to verify whether they're coming or not. Or they sign up for roles and then consistently don't show up at the meeting, and then we have a hole on the agenda. So that changes the feeling at the start of the meeting, because we're always looking to replace them. Here it's really obvious who has signed up and who's committed themselves, not being told by somebody else and not realizing it was their responsibility.
And the nice thing to answer is you're in control of whether you're attending or not. With the thumbs up and thumbs down, when you look at your, let's say that you signed up for Sergeant at Arms. On your page, it'll have the green thumbs up will be faded a little bit, but the red thumbs down will still be selectable, so that you can go in and say, oh, I can't make it, so you do the thumbs down. It takes you off the agenda and leaves it open for somebody else to come in and take it.
So can you just sign up that you're going to attend the meeting but don't have to get a role?
Correct.
So is that what, just a
That was
thumbs up?
No, that was the very first attendance across the 4.
Here you.
One more.
Well,
So this will just say that you're
Yeah.
attending the
Attending.
meeting. So now, Nick, if you were the VPN or if you were in charge of that meeting, if you go ahead a few, Richard, one more. So on this meeting agenda, this is the actual roles, but down here is a list of all the members. And the green check means they're coming.
Ah.
So they might be just attending and not committed to a role.
Right.
But I'm looking at the agenda 24 hours before and I have 2 roles left. I need a timer and I need a tabletop master. I can fill them in. They'll look at the meeting and go, oh, I did get assigned a role. Actually, they'll get an email automatically by EasySpeak. By the way, you're the
But
grammarian.
you're going to assign the role to them.
But I'm not assigning the whole meeting anymore,
No.
right? I can fill in
The last
those
24 hours.
or 3 days before, or whatever your culture says. But I think the last 24 hours is a lot better than 3 minutes into the start. Excuse me, we don't have a grammarian. Who'd like to be a grammarian? And you have 3 guests sitting in the back going, well, you bunch of lunatics, you don't know what you're doing. So it does prepare you. And what we found, once it was established in our club, that was the way it was happening. And people did commit to do their own journey, like their own success. I want to get through this manual, or I want to achieve so many speeches, and we'll show you how you can goal set to follow that. But the person who's in charge of the agenda has probably 80% of it done, not 24 hours before where I have a blank agenda and I don't even know who's coming tomorrow. So I'm just going to throw them all in and hope they show up.
And just
And then they come and I have no speakers. Oh, and tonight's the night I have 2 guests. And we're not showing them a good meeting, so they're probably not going to be interested.
Just as a side note, like within here as well, like as VP Ed, I'm going through, I'm monitoring meetings, making sure we've got enough people. There's a system within EasySpeak. I can send an email. There's 5 different emails. I can send it to all members and say, hey, our club's coming up next week. Let's sign up. Then there's another one that says, hey, we're looking for people to volunteer. Will you sign up? Click here. It makes it very simple for people just to go in and click, done. You're in it.
So, sorry, I have one question. What is the difference between the Toastmaster and the parties?
Let me talk to you later on a sidebar then.
Okay.
Okay. That was covered just a little bit before.
I was assigned a question by a lady who quickly had to attend another one.
Yeah.
So I'll ask the question. I suspect
Question by
I have
proxy.
the answer.
Two times.
So, well, we're double teamed.
That's awesome.
The EasySpeak has been set up for our club. And the question she had was that our next meeting is February the 8th, but the agenda didn't open up for people to volunteer for roles until the 1st of February.
It's a setting within EasySpeak. Like I've got mine set up so that it'll start accepting roles 56 days out.
Perfect, okay.
You can
so
change that.
So
it's
it's,
changeable.
so,
And they
okay,
can
so
go
I've got to
there.
go to the guy who did the setup.
Probably,
and say,
yeah.
You have to fiddle with
Yeah.
something.
What I can maybe do, if you send me an email, I can send you some screen dumps of how I have MVP set up.
Okay.
And, you know.
Well, he's an IT guy. He should know what
If
he's
he set it up, he may know where to find it. But
Yeah,
if not,
but
Richard will have
It
it.
is in Toastmaster.
Awesome. Yes, oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, sure, okay.
What club are you in?
Repsol.
Oh,
so,
yes.
yes.
I helped her. That's awesome. I was thinking about you guys this week.
Okay, what do Toastmasters like to do?
Sleep.
At meetings. Okay,
You can talk in your sleep, do you?
that's the other thing, talk. And talking is part of the speech. So within EasySpeak, it's also easy. The way it works is you have to request a speech. And the reason that you have to request a speech is sometimes it needs some input from the VP Ed saying, okay, I got 2 speakers that night. They're 7-minute ones. Great, no problem. We normally have 3. But somebody else comes in and says, I want to do a panel discussion that's going to need 30 minutes. So I'm able to look at that and say, I can't fit you in today. How about next meeting or the one after that? So then the VP Ed would set it accordingly, and there's a follow-up on it. So my participation, sign up for meetings. You'll see a little icon here that says request speech. Click on it. 3 screens will come up. This one being, what's the title of your speech? Many people put TBA as to be announced. But as soon as you know it, update it. here's the space for your introduction. Remember, it's your speech. Introduce yourself. Don't leave it up to the Toastmaster saying, we got Christina next. She's going to be doing CC number 5. Here she is. That's not an introduction. Write your own. It gives you the ability to put the proper spin on your presentation. Next screen is what workbook is it from? There, in this case, the CC manual is listed here, and I would select one of the modules from there. It's not from a CC, it's from the technical presentations. Bad choice, but you can start a new workbook by clicking on the drop down at the top, and it will give you every book that Toastmaster has, even in Chinese or whatever. So you would select the workbook with the module, click on the preferred dates. When do you want to do it? I recommend at least 2 dates. 3 is preferred, but 2 will get by. Don't do 1, because same scenario, I don't have room to fit you, I don't know where to put you. So put in the 3 dates, and all the little clock here shows you how many speeches are already set up for that meeting. So if you normally have 3, we know, okay, this one, the meeting's full. And then we get into the various speakers.
Excuse me. Yeah, so you mean the 2 yellow things, that means there are 2 speeches already scheduled?
Yeah,
Okay.
and in this particular case, on January 25th, we only did 2 speeches.
They probably were longer.
Yeah.
So somebody did a 20-minute and somebody did, so the control is still with the VP Ed to make sure that you don't schedule 3 20-minute speeches in one meeting. So what you were talking about earlier, Emma, and the other thing that it does, it allows the VP of Ed to spread it around, because once people figure this out, they'll go, click, I want to do a speech next week, and the week after, and the week after, the week after, and you go to the meetings and you have Fred doing a speech every week, and everybody else is bored of Fred, right? You need somebody else, but not only that, he's stealing stage time and nobody else is moving forward in their program. So yeah, Fred, you can have 4 speeches, but how about you do 1 in January, 1 in February, and you spread them out. Guess what? Somebody canceled Fred, you can do it in February 2nd, whatever.
And that's when the VP Ed, it's his responsibility to schedule the speeches so they work.
So then, when you look at this, it doesn't tell you how long the speech is necessarily.
But in that request, it does.
No, but I mean, you as the person who does the request know, you as the VP of Education knows, but the rest of the
Not
club
on
not.
this, not on this page, but
No,
on the agenda it will show it.
Oh, okay.
Right, so you could go forward,
Within each manual here, you see the 5 to 7.
Oh, okay.
Or 20 minutes or 30
so you can
minutes
go
or
back and
whatever
find
the case. So, and that's all handled by the system.
so once it's clicked in here and the VP Ed schedules it, so say your choice was March 20th. As another member in the club just wondering, I can go forward to March 20th and in the agenda it'll say, Richard's gonna do technical speech, takes 20 minutes, and he's doing it speaker number 2 on that day. So that timing shows up on the agenda as well. So it's all pretty,
Interconnected.
yeah, and it's very transparent, except for the request to speech is the VP Ed controls it. And we talked about this the other day. I understand why now, because you could end up with 3 speeches automatically filled in by speakers without any control on timing. And especially in an advanced club where everybody wants to do, facilitate it, it's half an hour. Now you've got to really spread them out. So you might just have 1 and a 7-minute speech and, this meeting will have more table topics. So you can fill in those blanks when you start to see them come together.
So now, the communication progress.
Before we move on, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
So when people start doing the request to speech thing and then it fills in, is there some report that you can print so you can see, say a month at a glance, what kind of speech?
Multi, How far do you want to go back? It's been in the system now for about since 2013. I could go back to 2013 and tell you what speech you did, on what day, and who was your evaluator.
Going backwards, but forwards you could go-
No more going forward, so,
You
say
could-
for instance, I wanna schedule an education session, but I don't want it to be, in the clog of a bunch of member speeches and stuff like that. So can I get a look at?
So right here, you can go, yeah, and you could, this is one screen, but I can move this 20 out.
Oh,
So I
okay.
can move my screen and let January go, and I could go right out to June. So some VP Eds, they were real keeners in the summer, they could plan every meeting. And it would just go, on the spreadsheet within the computer program, which is really good, because if you were a really organized VP and you go, every month we're gonna have an educational, you can slot it in with the speaker and the timing right out till the end of your program.
And the other aspect is on, like when you're selecting the speech, it has all the technical, all the educationals. So it will automatically fill in the times,
Okay.
and it'll be handled by the system.
This is to pick your manual, so this drop-down menu has everything that's available, and it actually has all the educationals in there too. So then, if I hit better speaker series, boom, 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 introductions, conclusions, know your topic, and you could click it in, and then magically all appears in the agenda. So there's so many shortcuts on a click that once you're established, you're way further ahead than having to look at all that.
So we've heard that Pathways is coming.
Good
Which means that the manuals that we are presently using, and I've just left the CC.
Congratulations.
And I ordered, I said what I wanted for 2 new ones. I had no idea that some of them are 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I'm like,
Do you remember what
whatever
you
I
ordered?
asked for. When will those things
Will
go
the
into?
pathways happen here?
Yeah.
It's already done.
Oh, okay.
We're not, the
Easy Speak is, Malcolm Waddell, he's the creator of it back in 2005. He went to various meetings and says, there's gotta be a better way than an Excel spreadsheet. And he started developing this. Now it's supported worldwide by volunteers. I've talked to Malcolm several times on various things. Yeah, sorry, yeah, he is. So you don't call him too often, you email him. But
I would be able to find, I mean, I'm hesitant to start a brand new manual if it's gonna not take me into.
Can I address that?
Oh, the cheap
So-
copy.
Yeah.
$20.
So, if, this is all with our current program,
Yes.
and we are one of the last regions to roll out. So Easy Speak, or in other parts of the world that are on Pathways, is already Pathways on Easy Speak. So this drop-down menu stuff, it's not, I don't even know what Easy Speak looks like with Pathways, but it won't look like this because we're not in manuals. The question you have is whether I start a new manual. So I have a question for you. When you started Toastmasters, did you walk in to say, I'm gonna get as many manuals as I can done, or I'm gonna grow my personal journey? So really interesting is if you, say you were to work through your Speaking to Inform manual, and you do project 1, 2, and 3, you still have 2 years to finish that manual and another one and get your bronze, right? And that's gonna grow you. In May, end of April, we're gonna roll out Pathways, and you're gonna start not on 2 tracks, 10. You're gonna do an assessment and you're gonna pick whether you want dynamic leadership, mastery, presentations.
But she can still stay with.
You can stay and you can do another speech over here, and another one, and finish that manual, and another one, I'll do my icebreaker here. You can run them concurrently. And what you'll find is, isn't that interesting? I did that Speaking to Inform manual, and now this project tells me I have to do an abstract thing. I've already done this once before. Now I can do it even better. So there's a lot of people, it is a common question, in the last 2 weeks I've heard it so many times of people saying, well, why should I bother? Why don't I just wait till Pathways comes out in May? And I said, because you're stopping your growth for 4 months. All those things you do between now and then, I don't care if you walk in tomorrow, you do your CC and you get 3 speeches done, that's icebreaker, 2, and 3. And that's gonna help you join into Pathways, whichever path you take, you're gonna already have done an icebreaker. Or you're gonna just watch for 4 months, because you don't want to do anything, it's only going to help you. And none of us walked in knowing any idea what a manual or a badge or a certificate or anything. So are you going to say, you know, I just don't want to do anything because it doesn't count anymore, and stagnate your growth? I mean, it's going to help you so much. And when I've started comparing pathways that we have, a lot of it repeats. It's not a brand new program. It's just been realigned with a whole bunch of new stuff added. So you're going to, oh, that's an HPL. I know what that is from the old program. You might have sat there and said, oh, I'm not doing anything for 4 months, and you could have achieved an HPL, for example, or I could have done an Educate to Motivate, or I could have done a persuasion speech. Now I'm going in with more tools and it's even better the next time. And that's going to be what's really interesting. There's DTMs and brand new people in the room, and we're going to Pathways, we're all doing icebreakers. We're starting right at the beginning, all of us. The icebreaker for the DTM better be better presented than the icebreaker for a brand new person. You're just going to have, your own expectation is going to be higher. But you're not going to want to start off like a brand new person again, because you're going to see yourself improve. And it's actually ironic, it's a mountain. You're going to climb 10 different paths to the top. So I'm so excited. There are so many options, and we're not all doing a CC. We might all be doing different things. So you'll be in a club where you're doing dynamic leadership and somebody else is doing presentation mastery. You're going to learn from watching them what that would teach you. So there's so many different advanced manuals. You're going to listen to somebody with technical, not my thing, I'm doing humorous. Not my thing, I want to do discussion leader. We're going to see 10 different journeys to the top, and we're only going to work on 2 at a time. So I think it'll be really fascinating. But go back to your clubs and say, just do what you're doing. If you're ready for the next speech, if you're ready for the next CL, if you're ready to take on a role, keep going in your program, because it's only going to make you stronger when you start at base camp at the bottom of that mountain. Besides, you're 4 months in the program anyway. You want to keep growing. So this is probably my favorite part of what Toastmasters and Easy Speak. This will track everything that you have. So as I'm working through, and this is Richard's actual communication page. So we clicked on my speech progress, and up here is every manual that he's working on. So we're not working, once we get past the CC, we might actually work in 1 or 2 advanced manuals at a time. This is short-lived now, because with 2 more years and we won't see this anymore. But so he has achieved the CCL. This is called a Confident Communicator, and he's done 2 advanced manuals. He has his ACB, Confident.
Advanced Communicator Bronze.
Cheers. And he's working towards another one, 2 other advanced manuals. And here, this is the part that's really cool because it tracks everything. If you ever lose it, he's working on another CC manual, and he has 1 speech done. This is the date and the evaluator.
Actually, that speech below is actually the expanded version of what's above.
What's up here? This is a list of all the manuals. Here's the CC, here's an advanced manual, another advanced manual.
And it shows you
will be,
when it was and who evaluated you.
so you were saying, I want to know where I am. It's not 5 manuals in 5 different boxes, right? It's all there in front of you. You're going to lose 3 manuals, and it's still there in front of you. So now I finish all these speeches, and I say to the VP of Education, well, I know I did that technical manual. I can't find it. He says, it's all right. I have it all on Easy Speak. I can give you the dates. I can give you who evaluated you, and I can give you the titles. We can still apply for your award. I know you did it all. Right? I don't need to have a manual.
So if you're first, I'm sorry, go ahead. If you're first starting an Easy Speak and you've got a developed club, people have already finished their CC monthlies. Now, they want their history there.
1999, she went
So
back.
he's gone in and he's put everything. I mean, it's a bit of legwork,
But
but
you-
if my house goes on fire, I know what speeches I did 20 years ago.
So you as a member with that history, you have to list everything or put it in a spreadsheet and send it to Richard, and he will populate.
Do you know
your
what?
history, or what?
We actually, I did better than that. So I can go in and put it all in. It's actually one of our last slides. And I put in a fake date, May 20th. And then he takes my manual and he goes, that was actually May 20th, 1997. And he'll populate it with the
In the
correct
right
dates.
place.
Yes.
So you've
So
got all the inputs.
I typed in all the titles, which is cut and paste if you wanted from your Toastmaster.
They're simpler for both of you.
And like myself as VP, I'm a little OCD, I guess would be the term. Whenever I'm entering, approving what has been done, I need paper. I need the book to say, yeah. And then after that, What way to look.
But then he can
Yeah,
say,
don't
my
break it.
name, if I was VP Ed, I know that actually happened, right? There's some integrity that has to happen. I'm not gonna phone you and say, okay, put me in for 5 speeches. Oh, and now another 5, I'd like that award next week, I don't know what that is.
Would
So
that
there's
be-
there's a lot of integrity with Richard,
Would
right?
that be cash?
Yeah. That kind of agenda, he's very, and I think that's what we need, right, in our program. I love it. This is a whole honesty thing. You wanna go buy your awards, you can fill it in, I pay your, that's just not even discussing. Yeah.
So you know when you're finished your CC and your CL, your VP Ed has to enter it all and get your award? Does this automatically go through, or do you still have to do all the entry?
You can,
It's not at that point. What I do is I call up the screen, cut, paste, done.
Okay.
so it's actually
5 minutes
faster
is
than,
done.
you're not.
Because the CL is a lot of work to enter.
Oh, wait, let me show you.
Oh, okay.
It's my favorite screen.
It's almost like we organized that queuing.
Hey, you guys are great. So this is a CL. So that was a communication. We had all the list of all the manuals, right? This is now on a leadership track. So if you're starting a leadership track, it's just the CL. So here is Richard's CL, and this is project number 1. And you have to do 3 out of 3. As soon as he's finished project number 1, listening, it goes green. It lights up like you win the lottery. You go, yay! I've done 1 project. So number 2, you have to do 2 out of 3. As soon as he entered the second one, you're done that project. Critical thinking. So he needs to finish 1 here, or 2 out of 3. Obviously 1 done, and he needs 1 more. I can't tell which one. I know this one is 1 and a 6. So for me, when I was doing my CL and I was filling it in, and then it was getting verified, I was check it out, boom! It was like fireworks going off, and the green comes up, and I'm, this is so much fun. I want to do another one and watch it happen again. And
Exactly,
so for
instant gratification.
so many years I was in Toastmasters, I saw that, I said, this is what we've been waiting for. This is the motivation, because you can get really complacent as a member or as a executive or as a company. Well, I don't really need to be evaluated in that. No, I don't feel like being a timer. But when you see this going on, and then you go, you should see, I've done 2 more in my CL. You've only got 3
Check
more,
out how much
right?
green I've got
Yeah,
on my
check out
page.
mine. But more than that, you start watching people who joined around the same time. You go, well, you've got 2 more to go, and I've got 2. You know what? We could be the 2 CLs for our club to get distinguished club, and now we're all working together. So it's about my personal growth, but now I'm part of something a little bit bigger. And I've got other people rooting me on. You know, I am being chairperson, and if you were chair, we'd get that next, CL project accomplished for you, which is 1 more project closer for us to have that CL for. So it all kind of builds on it.
And
I don't know.
also-
I get excited about the green. It's another motivational tool, but it could be any color. But the fact that I'm actually tracking and watching my success motivates me to go back and say, okay, I did that timer role. I didn't think I was ready, but look at that. I was successful. Now I can be the Toastmaster. Now I can be the table topic master. And this is all in the leadership.
And if you're working on multiple manuals, whatever, at the same time, so it's bit here, bit there, eventually you look at it and say,
How
I
did that
only need
happen?
1 more speech in whatever manual, and I've got it done.
So you're not populating that yourself.
That comes off the meeting.
Automatically, so off the agenda, you signed up for a timer, off that agenda, that automatically gets filled in. You don't even have to pick it.
There is a bit of a glitch that I found in that I always go through and check,
Okay.
just being me. So,
When the
Remember,
meeting's
he has
finished,
OCD.
so this isn't, as a member, you don't have to do that. That's all that happens. But
It's already done.
Right,
Automatic.
as soon as he closes a meeting, as soon as he verifies that person did that, because life happens, a chairperson wasn't Fred who was on the agenda. I have to change that to Emma, who actually stood in that day.
So the VPN still goes through and verifies that.
So they verify that meeting, and then this last column here actually says verified. So when I finish my CL, I'll give it to Richard, and he'll say, yep, checked, you did those evaluations. Because there's a lot of times where you do a role, but you're not evaluated in it. My advice to you is be evaluated in everything you do. And if you haven't been told this, you can run 2 CLs, right? So you're not finished the first one, but you can be running the second one, because you only need to be timer once, but you might be timer 5 times before you finish that CL, and you're only going to be chairperson for a contest once. And that's going to be the one that you wait. In the meantime, you've been grammarian, you've been GE, you've been Toastmaster, and you're not getting credit. You can't record it because you don't have that second manual. Does that make sense? That took me a very long time to figure out, so I share that now. because I was doing tons of roles, and it's like being in an advanced manual, and you're on number 4, technical speaking, and you're thinking, I can't figure out how to do that, I can't figure out, and 6 months later, you've done 10 other speeches, but you didn't do anything because you couldn't get that number 4. So. This is the advanced, this is his leadership at the bronze level, so it'll go all the way through. So he's achieved these things, they've all been verified, and now it's in easy speak for the VP of Ed to go through and say, he did a club officer on this date and apply for that award. So here's the goals. So before we just had tracking, but on the very right is your communication goals. So this is what I'm doing as a speaker. So there's a drop-down menu and I can make my choice, in this case, Advanced Communicator Silver by July. And so when I go to my page on my progress, right here it says I have 9 more projects to do. I need to do one every 2.5 weeks. And when I log in later, it'll say you're on track or you're behind 2 speeches. That's okay in January when you're going to July. But when you have a goal to do 9 speeches and it's May and you go, ooh, I have 8 to do. Nobody prompted me. Nobody reminded me. So now you can plan out in your meetings, every 2.5 weeks I want a speech. I'm gonna put in my day timer and now I'm working towards that goal. So that's really valuable. The same thing with the leadership goals. You can click on it. And what's your goal? The CC, CL, I want to do 1 more speech, I'm going to do 3 more speeches in my leadership role, and I want to do it by July. So it can even be broken down in less than the actual award.
And then you can change that if you.
Yeah, you change, you say, you know
get
what, life
shipped
happened.
out of.
Yeah, I
out of
couldn't
the
do it,
contract,
I can't get my CL done, I'm going to do 3 more projects before July. And then that's all tracked for the VP to say, well, you didn't get it this year, but you'll be one of our CLs for next year.
Okay. The discussion forum, I was going to go through it. We're running out of time, so I'm just going to bypass that one. You can also upload your photo, so just imagine a new member doesn't know who's who,
Picture.
doesn't know who's who. If they can see your picture there, like this mugshot right there, then that helps them get comfortable with the club. And that's through profile, images, and then there's a location to browse to your computer and upload your photo, and there is the restrictions listed here.
So this is a little bit like before, but when you're, you can actually check to see where you're at. So this, I would have all my manuals on the table. Now I can see right away, that these are the projects I haven't done. So I can go to my manual and I can figure out what project is next. I don't have to do them in order. And down here, it'll actually list what I've completed. The same in my leadership. So everything that's here, and we talked earlier that the VPN has to verify that it has actually been achieved. It will be moved over, but it won't go green until it's verified. So you'll see it in your own project.
Now, if you're working away at it and you need help, there's the help options within EasySpeak. It says help options, and within there's a discussion forum, knowledge map. You can search for certain terms. The one that I found useful was the videos, because there's thousands of videos out there on EasySpeak. Some of them are dated, some of them are current, but it gets in and it'll give you a good visual on how to do things. Now, questions? Sure.
So the meeting agenda will be automatically produced.
Yep.
But our club usually has some items in special.
We change this
Could
agenda.
be
That's a
customized.
customized. You could have 20 different agenda templates. Or you can have as many as you want. So you might have a contest one, you might have a business meeting one, you might have 2-speaker one, a 3-speaker one, a table topics night.
As an example, we're having a contest at our next meeting. It went to too many people, so we had to split to 2 meetings. So I just go in as administrator and and makes the changes. So next week, next meeting is evaluation, the meeting after that is speeches. Done deal.
So that's all
It handles
customized
the
over the
agenda.
back door? And that's a great question, because some meetings are 2 hours, some are 1 hour.
And the thing that always impressed me is you can go and look around at everything, you can't break anything. Which is nerve wracking when you have something new, you think, I'm gonna mess everything up, gonna lose, you can't break it.
Get back, it's looked
Just
after.
start again.
And just, yeah.
There is a spot, if you wish, you can support Easy Speak. You know, it's the standard, do you wish to donate? But other than that, there is no cost unless you donate.
Just to confirm, if I did too much timers and then it's all done for the CL menu, so it's all count for the future.
You could, yeah, if you get somebody to evaluate you as that day, so they could keep notes and you could order the manual and have it filled in later. But you only need to be timer once on the CL manual. The chances, you've probably done it 4 or 5 times in the year. If you had a second CL manual, you could fill it in the second time, or the 5th time, or whatever.
Yeah, but for using the Easy Speak, will they track?
It will track too. It'll track that you were a timer in the meeting, but for the CL, you need to be evaluated in your manual. So you can actually run 2.
And for most cases, it's only one.
One,
So
but it's,
you would just save that evaluation. Like I had one lady that went nuts and did all the CLs, like
every
one,
project.
not 2 out of 3. She did every one. And so what I've ended up doing is entered the 2, got the green light on that one, and made a photocopy of the one that she's done, and I'm saving that for future use. So that when she does another CL, she's done that.
And then you can count the others.
Exactly. And I talked to TI on that, and that's definitely.
It'll be recorded in the meeting, but it won't be recorded in a manual unless you actually have a manual, or you have it all on paper for somebody. So it'll get verified through proof that it was evaluated. So it's not just the fact that we did it, it's that we were evaluated in it.
Okay, so even if we're using the Easy Speak, we still need to
Paper.
sign.
That's right. But I think in Pathways, all the evaluations are gonna be online, so I'm interested how that's going to transfer.
Oh, I have a question then. So Easy Speak, so we're still in this program, but Pathways is coming. Are we gonna have access to 2 Easy Speaks in the interim, or just one or the other?
What it is, on the home page, you click on home, and one of the options is Pathways.
Oh, is it?
And it will log you into TI for that aspect
Once
of
it's
it.
available.
But EasySpeak does, they still handle your progress, your meetings, schedules, so on.
I think the Pathways on the TIMET website is copying a lot of this, because it's gonna track all your evaluations and all your progress. So I wonder if, and I haven't seen the Pathways Easy Speak, it might just be a click, and it'll all be over here already done.
And Malcolm's been working with Toastmasters since 2011.
Yes.
when
But we'll
Pathways
keep
was
going, this
drafted.
other program will keep going until we're finished.
One additional few things. The help options. Just do a search on Easy Speak, Toastmasters if you wish. I got 16 million hits. Google, 24 million.
Make sure you have a free menu before you get on there.
Other club members that might know Easy Speak a little bit better or a little bit different than you, because everyone has their own experience, and other clubs. If you want a PDF manual of this, just send me an email, and I'll get you the latest version. It's only about 7 pages long, and it's similar with the screen dumps.
I missed what your name is.
Richard.
Richard somebody? Okay.
During practice, it was, hello, my name is Richard Bowery, and my co-presenter is, of course. Then, one thing I want to bring up, it's an advertisement for MVP Advanced Toastmasters. We're getting Freddie. Freddie, Dr. She's a DTM, and she's an accredited speaker. She will be at MVP at Quirr on February 28th. Details to follow.
We have this. This is the latest magazine. Freddie's in it. So take a look. These are all the accredited speakers. She was number 75 in the world. So she lives in Lethbridge, and she's going to come to Southeast Calgary. You can go to the D42 website, the events calendar. It's one of the events you can click on. You'll need to register because the room will fill up pretty fast. But that's pretty exciting. She's going to come and share her journey with how she was accredited speaker. On top of that, Freddie is also speaking. She's our keynote speaker for the conference. I shouldn't tell you both because I want you to come in February, but it'll be two totally different talks. An extremely dynamic speaker, but more than that, Freddie is so willing to share her journey so somebody else could follow. Somebody else could become a better speaker or paid speakers.
Okay, never stop learning because life never stops teaching, so go off with that. And if you have any questions, capture me after and I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
And we'll go with that. Thank you all very much.
Thanks for coming. Spread the word. Easy Speak's going to transfer to Pathways, so it's not wasted burning to learn